Third posting, based on this book, Art of Fear by Kristin Ulmer. Not dependent on the other two postings, a bit more standalone, but I really like something that she helped me reframe, is this idea, well, what I would perhaps previously have called balance, but I think balance is misleading, because if you're balancing and potentially you're going to fall off, that whole work-life balance just doesn't ring true for me. And then I use other words like fusion, so is it the right mix? Is that the harmony is not a bad word as well? So you're kind of, when you talk about work-life balance, or the harmony between your life and work, the fusion, the mix, the levels, those kind of things. But the bit I got going from this book is more about the idea that almost like a sweet spot, which is probably a fairly good word as well, but the idea of the apex. If you take a couple of things, you just want to be at the apex, at the best of both really, and just have that. And again, it's just probably, is it a fine line? I don't know. Maybe that already gives us a reason not to do it. Oh, if it's a fine line, let's not even go for it. It's too tricky. But I think it's the idea, the apex of let's say two things coming together at the right time and the right place. So of course her work talks about fear and resistance. So it's the apex of those things. So you've just got to find that almost that right time, that right moment when there is fear, and that resistance, when the resistance is actually at the right level. It's difficult to talk about because it means such different things to different people, but that sweet spot or apex of those sorts of things. And I think that's a good way, because this idea of balance is also a bit, I was going to say wonky, and there you go. Because is there really balance? Is there a real work-life balance? Do you put them on a scales and go, yeah, it's spot on. Is that what we really want? You want it over longevity, over a year, let's say, but actually it's a bit more out of balance. Some of the stuff that I've liked doing outside of work and inside of work actually isn't balanced at all, because I just really engross and focus hugely on it for, let's say, half a day. It's not really balanced in that day, not really a balanced approach. I'm not doing that, then spending 20 minutes checking email and back and forth and whatever it might be. So it's a bit of a, yeah, I like that, wonky word, hadn't thought of that, let's go with that, might regret it. But the idea is what we're searching for is it's really important what we search for, and I think it's that apex. Come back from that. It's almost like I can see it like the two things come together, the right time, the right place, and that's when you can go in and perform at your very best.